Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's chamber check-in time. And today I have the CEO of RescueStat with us to tell their story, Carl Dixon. Hi, Carl.
Hello, Paul. It's great to see you and great to have everybody online.
Hey, thanks for taking some time with me today. This is going to be a fun conversation. I'm going to learn a lot, and I hope I can share a lot with the listeners about RescueStat and learn a bit about the history and the origin story and what you all are doing to help the communities that you serve. But first, I get to thank our series sponsor, Carl, of this series at Delta Dental of Idaho. And as you're well aware, they are a provider of best-in-class dental insurance benefits to businesses in Idaho and citizens of Idaho, and they've been doing it for over 50 years. And with that, I'm going to share a fun factoid from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
Cavities are 100% preventable, and most plans actually cover those routine cleanings at 100%. You're going in and there's nothing out of pocket for you. Get your teeth cleaned. It feels so good.
That's a good one, Carl. We were just talking about that. We both had our routine cleanings done this week or last week.
That's right. Yep, we did. It feels good to have a clean bill of health coming out of that. If you floss.
Like one of their quotes, unleash your smile power. Anyway.
That's right.
So Carl, RescueStat, let's start off. What is RescueStat? Just kind of give us the 30,000 foot view of what RescueStat is.
Sure. So RescueStat exists to help companies make sure their employees are protected from sudden cardiac arrest, and also their organizations are protected. So we're a mission-driven organization, and we say our mission is to save lives and to protect organizations from sudden cardiac arrest. So that opens up a plethora of additional questions, but that's who we are and why we exist.
Oh, that's awesome. And then, okay, let's talk about the origin story of RescueStat. So I remember when I started with the chamber almost 10 years ago, I went with our then account manager, Sarah Cortez, and we went and met with stat pads. And that was the first time I had engaging with a business with working with the chamber. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this product? So tell us the origin story of RescueStat, kind of from conception and why to where it is now.
You bet. So it sort of starts with the definition of cardiac arrest and the problem that it is in America. So sudden cardiac arrest is a lot of times confused with a heart attack, but it's really an electrical problem. So a heart attack is a plumbing issue, and cardiac arrest is an electrical issue. In the United States, there are over 360,000 people that die every year from cardiac arrest, which is over half of the heart disease deaths in America. So this is a huge killer. A lot of people don't know that. There's a lot of awareness that's being generated around this. But going back 20 years, two of our four founders, Tommy Alquist and Tad Cowley, they were working as ER docs, and they saw a lot of people coming into the ER that they weren't able to save, and they recognized the need for pre-hospital solutions to combat cardiac arrest. And they partnered up with Craig Rasmussen and Rick Johnson, and they founded StatPads, which at the time, StatPads, PADS is actually an acronym that stood for, the PADS represented Public Access Defibrillation Services. And so really that's what the company started doing, is providing AEDs to the market, but then also partnering with distributors and other folks that were on a mission to get AEDs into communities. And we provide all of these services related to the AED. So these are class 3 medical devices that require prescription, require medical oversight, and they require sort of keeping track of all the components and pieces to make sure that the organization is protected and also the device is ready to be used to save a life. So that was 20 years ago.
Right.
And a lot has happened since then. We're getting ready to celebrate our 20th anniversary. And yeah, so we work nationally and even some internationally. But we're really excited to be a part of this community and the special things that are going on here in Boise as well.
So when I'm traveling and I'm at the airport or I'm in hotels and I see these devices on the side of the wall and they say AED on them, is that something that you're supplying to? Tell me more about that. The physical thing.
Yes. So there are many providers of AEDs. We do that. We're really a technology enabled company. So we really focus on the technology related to managing the AED. The AED is an essential component for saving a life, right? So when sudden cardiac arrest strikes, and this can it can hit people that are healthy. This is not the same profile as someone that has a heart attack necessarily. This is a leading killer of student athletes and younger people, older people. It really is no respecter, right, of persons. So when that happens, the blood stops flowing to the brain, and there's really approximately 10 minutes before the person is not able to be recovered. And for every minute that passes, the chance of survival decreases by 10%. And so you can do the math, right? It's every minute counts. And so if you can retrieve a working defibrillator and apply it to the victim, you can generally restart the heart. But in the United States, ambulance response times are between 7 and 14 minutes, depending on if you're in an urban or rural area. And so the math sort of points to solutions to bring defibrillators and AEDs to the public access areas, to where people can just retrieve them, turn them on, and help people where they're at. And so what we do is, the AED is the first step, but it's just the first step. If you have an AED and nobody knows about it, or it's not functioning, the batteries or pads are expired, you're in a world of hurt, right? So the way we think about this is, I'm not sure, I think folks can see our logo, but what this represents, it really represents the four chambers of the heart, but it also represents sort of how we think about saving a life, which is making sure the AED is ready, the people are ready and empowered, the organization is ready and compliant, and also that the people that the culture, there's a culture of readiness. And so when all of those things are working like a functioning heart, you have an increased chance of survival. And so the national average, and I know I'm going on a bit here.
I love it.
But the national survival rate for sudden cardiac arrest is less than 10%. And a lot of it has to do with that math, right? It's like you essentially have 10 minutes, and every minute counts. And if you can retrieve a defibrillator within 5 minutes or less, ideally within just a couple minutes, then the chances of survival drastically increase. You can try to do CPR and wait for EMS to arrive, right, but nationally that has not led to great results. And so, we are really proud of our survival rates. We're around 7 times the national average. And so that's something that we take pride in. And the way we do that is really through this simple process of making sure those 4 components of the AED, the people, the organization, and the culture are all ready.
I love it. It always takes training and education to make anything work. I mean, anyway, hey, I want to make sure that we talk a little bit about you and your team, and kind of the why and how you got involved in this industry. So, Carl, why don't you start off with you? Tell me how long you've been with the CEO of RescueStat, and tell me what led you into this industry.
You bet. So my path into healthcare is a little bit different than most. My first experience with sudden cardiac arrest was in 2016, when I got a call from my mom in the middle of the night telling me that my dad had just passed. and he passed from sudden cardiac arrest, and I didn't know what that was. It was very, very confusing to me, because this is my best friend that we go hiking on the weekends. We're constantly doing sort of high adventure things, very fit. Never had, ate healthy foods, never drank alcohol or smoked. This is a person you would think would have great heart health, and he became a victim of sudden cardiac arrest. And so that was sort of a key turning point in my life. It was also a transitionary point. I was married for about 6 months. We found out that we were pregnant that same week, and we were moving to Brazil, like in the next month, to go run a portfolio company of a private equity fund that we had invested in years earlier. And so my background is really in investment banking and finance. And then I got my feet wet in operations in Brazil. And as I was down there, I realized that operating was really my jam. I love working with people. I love solving complex problems and being a part of an organization that was trying to make an impact. Down there, it was a Tex-Mex restaurant chain, which was fun and exciting. And we had our first daughter down there, who's a dual citizen. But when we came back, I wanted to merge those two things, operating and finance. And so I put together what's referred to as a search fund to search for and acquire a company that then I would go operate. And I found stat pads from a couple of people that were invested in the fund and that were friends. And I met the owners and met the management team, and ultimately ended up acquiring the business. And since then, with the history of my dad, it's really made this an impactful experience. And that's one of the things that I love about this company, is that it is a very mission-driven organization. Like, everybody that works here really feels the importance of saving lives and protecting organizations from cardiac arrest. And they share a set of core values of grit, growth mindset, and trust. And so it really is great. We're grateful to be a part of an amazing community of people that have a similar mission to save lives and to help organizations out.
You mentioned your team there briefly here at the end. Tell us about your talented team.
You bet. Yeah, it's easy to do. We have an incredible group of people here at RescueStat. It really is people talk about the secret sauce, and it really comes down to the people. Starting with our customer success people that are on the front line, and speaking with customers and educating and helping them understand the importance of AED ownership and how they can really create a culture of first responders inside their organizations and within their communities. And then we have also a really great management team that is really, I think, aligned around these values. I started mentioning them in passing, right? Trust, grit, and growth mindset. But this really is the operating system for the company. We really believe that value-driven organizations are more efficient. They're better players in the community, and they actually accomplish things that employees are proud to be a part of. And so, my job is to try to make RescueStat a place where we are accomplishing our mission, that people love to work, and they love it because we're sort of a value-driven organization. And so our people, they share those values, and we find ultimately what we do is we try to find organizations that share those values and partner with them to accomplish a great task. So it's a great group of people. Most of them have been here much longer than I have. I've been here for the past 3 years to help the company grow and accomplish its mission. But it really is a great group of people, and I'm proud and humbled to work with them.
So in your background, I see the village. So you're housed at the Village of Meridian, is that correct?
We are. Yep, we're lucky to be here at the Village. We're right above Lululemon, and so if you come here to go take a look at the fountain, you might see us up here. But yeah, we're really proud to be here, and yeah, we absolutely love the Village.
Idaho-based company, but your reach is national for
Correct.
the products and services you provide. Correct? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's correct. So we partner with like-minded companies, that have a partnership mindset, particularly distributors. So we are not a huge company in terms of people, but our reach is very broad. And so we've been partnering with amazing partners really since the inception of the business. The 4 founders, they all kept day jobs, and they hired great people at the beginning to sort of lead the company, and tried to always find scalable ways to grow the business. And so that's traditionally been a big part of who we are, and why, if you're in Florida, you might see an AED that happens to be managed by RescueStat.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, hey, I have your website scrolling on the bottom of the screen for folks who want to take a deeper dive. While I have you for a couple more minutes, Carl, is there anything else you'd like to educate me on while we have you?
Well, I think the website is a great place to go to learn more, and we would love to connect with anyone that saw an opportunity for their company. I think post-COVID, companies are more focused than ever before on employee health and safety. And this really is one of the #1 killers in America. And there's something we can do about it, And so we love to find those types of organizations that are focused on, protecting their people, and also, doing something for their organization. And so we'd love to connect with you. But I really appreciate the chance to chat with you, Paul, and to be a part of the chamber. It's amazing what you're doing in the community, and we're proud to be a part of it.
Thank you, Carl, for those kind words as well. Thank you for your investment in the community and highlighting the fact that businesses are now more than ever, their people are their biggest asset. And I'm a firm believer in that as well. So, Carl, thank you again for your time, for your membership with the chamber. I look forward to our next conversation. Have a great weekend.
You bet. Thank you, Paul.
Bye.